Yeah.
We are dancing with joy today.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. How are you doing?
I am so delighted and so excited, and I'm just so grateful to be here with you, my friend. How are
Yes,
you?
me too. I'm on top of the world. Like I said
Right?
yesterday, still there, still climbing. What were you
Well,
gonna
for
say?
our listeners who may not have caught us on one of our 120 lives yesterday,
Right.
I don't think it was
Yes.
that many, but it sure felt like a
It
lot.
was almost 10. It
It was
was. We did
about
a sprint.
it was about 12 hours of lives, so that was
Mhm.
the truth, right?
Yeah.
But for our listeners who might just be listening in on our weekly podcast, yesterday we launched our Women Connected in Wisdom: Stories and Resources Rooted in the Eight Dimensions of Wellness book
Yes.
that Shannon and I were the lead authors and weavers for 18 authors.
Mm.
And y'all, hello.
Hello.
Hello. Tell them what happened when we launched it, Shannon.
Number 1 in multiple categories,
Woo,
okay? You
woo,
know we like to do multiple categories. So, yes.
woo.
Yes, shout out to all
let's
of our
let's do a
authors.
check-in because we
Yeah,
haven't
let's see
checked
where
in
we
in a
are.
little bit. Let's check in and see where we are. We are currently sitting at number one in spiritual growth and self-help. We are sitting at number one in spiritual healing. We're sitting at number one. What was that last category? Was it personal growth?
Yes. Yes,
And
personal
we're
growth.
sitting in number three at motivational self help. And I'm going to go peek over at the larger category of self help because that's one of the giant ones and see where we're sitting. Um, we're sitting at number 11 right now. So we got a little climbing to do there. But
Yeah.
whoop,
Whoop, whoop.
here we go.
So excited. And I know when we started, what was it? In one of the categories, let me flip my
The
page
one
because
that
I
we're
know
in
we've been
number
working on
three, we started at number 247 yesterday.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, thank you for everybody who's bought our book for 99
Yep.
cents. Today is the last day for our listeners who join us. This is our 86th episode, so thank you for, being loyal listeners and everybody who's been on Instagram and Facebook and text, and I've talked to people from high school, church, like, places that I haven't connected to people in a long time, so it's been a really good time.
I love it. I want to
Yes.
give a shout out to my mentor and teacher, Brene Brown,
Yes.
because we are on one of the same lists as she is today. And that just tickles my heart. We're on one of the lists that her Gifts of Imperfection book is on. So, yeah. So, want to make sure clarifying for our listeners today is not the last day of the podcast. Today is the
Mm-mm.
last day for our Amazon bestseller campaign.
Right.
So, they are probably going to raise the price on the book. And we're not exactly sure when that's going to click over. So, if you're listening to this, go check it out and download your copy. And by the time you listen to this on all the major platforms, the paperback will also be up if you want to get a copy.
Yes. Yes,
And
and
go ahead.
we're about to add.
I was going to add, we're going to be adding some dates for book signings and speaking engagements. So if you want to come get a signed copy, you can be paying attention to our website at womenconnectedinwisdom.com and come meet us in person. We would love that.
Absolutely. And if you buy the Kindle book for 99 cents, let us know. Let us know your email so that we can send you this digital goodie bag that we have for you guys. We're going to continue to do events and different things for you, but we miss not being in person for this one. So we have some stuff for you on the way. Make sure that you get yours.
Absolutely. I just
Yeah,
realized, should we do our introduction and tell folks
we
who we
should.
are and what we're doing?
Yes, they got to know who we are. That's
Especially if you
important.
just joined the podcast for the first time. If you're a new listener, let us tell
That's
you who we are and what we're up to.
yes. Yes. Hi, ladies. I am Shannon Mitchell, a Black millennial business owner, Amazon #1 best-selling author, and the owner of Shalo Glow LLC, a handmade shea butter company. I am your advocate for natural self-care, intentional wellness, and your business systems.
Love it. Hey, y'all, I'm Christine Gautreaux, a white social justice advocate, an international speaker, coach, published and Amazon best-selling author, and dancing
Yes.
social worker who helps you upgrade your self and community care.
Mhm. Yes. And today, so you guys know, we can jump right into it. We are talking about occupational wellness. So, occupational wellness represents living in the purpose, passion, and productivity in one's chosen profession. This includes work life balance as a fulfilling and productive professional life is fitting to weave together with a healthy personal life.
Mm,
Mhm.
yeah. So appropriate for the last 48 hours of our life, right? When we talk
Yeah.
about occupational wellness,
Mhm.
as entrepreneurs, as people who have worked in all different areas, like we between us, who knows how many jobs we've had in our lifetime, right? But
Right.
we've worked in the service industry, we've worked in the
Mhm.
caregiving industry, we've worked in the
Mhm.
social service industry, we've worked in the wellness industry,
Mhm.
and continue to work in some of those places,
Yeah.
and have had, of course, we're different ages, we're different backgrounds, and as
Yeah.
women have had some of the same experiences in
Mhm.
occupational wellness, some good and some
Right.
bad, right?
Right. Yeah. And things to learn from. Sometimes we can find ourselves in uncomfortable positions where it's, oh, well, why did I say nothing? And these are questions I had to ask myself even this year, right? Why did I say nothing when this person did this? Well, what would I have said? What should I do next time to make sure that I feel more protected or that my boundaries are held? Or just in general, so those things, but also celebrating the wins. Yesterday, we were talking about resting and rejoicing at the end of a big project. And I think both of those are really
Mhm.
important to hold space for yourself.
Mm. Have you had a chance to do that yet, my friend? Have you had a chance to rest and
Yes.
celebrate?
Absolutely. I did take time last night, had the candles, went and got something to eat. Didn't do what I thought I was gonna do. I asked, on the one of our lives, should I spoil myself? I was a 5-star Michelin. Where do I want to go? Right. But stuff closes early and I don't like to be rushed. So we went and picked something up and relaxed, which is great to do nothing. That's really what I wanted to do, even though I wanted to celebrate. And today more time outside. That's one thing I think about my mom outside, so we're gonna take some time in the sunlight, reset, and that's how I'm doing it this time because I do work from open to close tomorrow. So let's talk about some occupational wellness and how to add some
Right.
more celebration in.
Right, and talk about
Yeah.
celebrating. I know she's not
Hmm.
still on this plane, but we wanna give a shout out to your mom. Happy birthday,
Yes.
Anita. Happy
Yes, thank
birthday.
you so
Thank
much.
you for birthing Shannon and all her awesomeness.
Yes. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's been good. It's been good. And again, like Courtney said, Coach Co said on one of her things, taking the story of loss and then being able to turn it into, and I don't even feel like it was that. I feel like it was an opportunity to get to know her, opportunity to see what type of person she was, decide for myself what type of person I wanted to be. So to be able to help everybody with their physical wellness and decrease chronic illness, we're gonna make it worth it, and help some other moms be able to celebrate some more birthdays a little bit longer with their children.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, I know we are both ridiculously excited about our guest today.
What? Yes.
So, should we just go ahead and pull her up here
Mhm.
and start this conversation?
Let's do it.
All right. I'm going to introduce her. Hang on, let me get her bio up here. Is there
Mhm.
anything else we want to say about the book, or any other shout outs we want to give?
We can I think no, I think we're good with everything that we said, and if anything comes up, we can do it at the end and for the
You
rest of
bet.
everything else that we have going on.
And we will put a link in our show notes, y'all, so you can get a hold of this book, because the reviews
Yes.
coming in are pretty awesome. It's our
Mhm.
baby, so we were pretty partial to this book to start with, but it's
Yeah.
lovely that it's being received so well and people are really getting value out of it. So we're delighted.
Mhm.
All right, let's talk about our guest today, because she is ridiculously awesome. So, Jaylan Salah Salman, and I just hope I did justice to your name, my friend, is an Egyptian poet, translator, two-time National Literary Award winner, animal lover, feminist, film critic, and boop, 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 boop. Let's let that word come out of my mouth. Philanthropist. She received her Bachelor of Science in Pharmacy in 2011 and has published film criticism articles, short stories, poems, and translations in many websites and offline publications such as Al Haram, Vagues, I'm going to mess that one up. Visages, Synchronized Chaos, The Gay Gaze, Cinema Femme Magazine, Eye on Cinema, and Guardian Liberty Voice. Her first short story collection, Thus Spoke Loloba, was published in 2016 by the Egyptian Supreme Council of Culture. Her first poetry collection in English, Workstation Blues, was published by Poets IN, a British publishing house with the purpose of destigmatizing mental illness and supporting international artists. Her debut novel, Bogart Play Me a Classic Melody, has made wide critical acclaim and was recently chosen as one of the 32 novels in the Arab Voices Initiative at the virtual Frankfurt Book Fair in 2020. Her second poetry book, Bury My Womb at the West Bank, was published in 2021 by Third Eye Butterfly Press and available on Amazon in both ebook and paperback formats. Her second novel, Rita's Dance, was published in 2022 by Noon for publishing and available for purchase both in paperback and ebook formats. All the way from Alexandria, Egypt, we want to welcome our new friend Jaylan to the show.
Yes. Hi, Jaylan.
Hi, hello, hello, hello,
Welcome to
ladies.
Women Connected.
Welcome, babies. Hello.
I love reading your bio and how, especially, we're just putting this book out, and how big of a deal it is to put a book out. And I'm reading through all yours, and I'm like, whoa, she's a master at this. Like
Mhm.
you know how to do this, my friend.
Yes, she does.
I try.
Right?
No, you do it. You did it. You're
You
nationally
did it,
acclaimed. Okay,
right?
internationally acclaimed.
Internationally acclaimed. And
Yes.
this question is we haven't prepped this question at all because it really is just coming up for me in this moment. We put our this book out into the world yesterday. We've got 18 authors, and Shannon and I were having this conversation before the show because several authors have called me today, having a little bit of vulnerability hangover, right? They're like, what have I done? Right. And we're in community. So they know that they can call, they know we can have these discussions. Did you have any of that anytime you put out some of your books or some of your work? Do you ever go, what have I done?
All the time. Every single book out there. I'm like, why? Just why, Jay? Just pull it up. Come on. Come on. Now is your chance. And then I just put it because I revel in vulnerability. I think
Right.
vulnerability is one of my assets. It's just who I am. I've been fighting it for so long, hiding and trying to tone down writing and just stop myself from being vulnerable. And of course, listening to voices that might have told me, oh my God, look at this. What are people going to say when they read this? They're going to be reading through you. And then I just, for once and for all, I think with the last book, I think I was like, I'm vulnerable. Get it. It's in your faces. Take it. Uh-huh. So I just
Well,
say, embrace it, guys, whoever is listening.
right. Well, I think it is one of the things that we go through to level up. Like, one of my mentors and teachers, Brene Brown, she talks about the power of vulnerability. And
Totally.
the reality is we can't be living in purpose and be in connected relationships without it.
I totally agree. I totally agree. And I love vulnerable people. And vulnerable people are just, I've seen vulnerable people who are some of the strongest I've ever seen, especially artists. Because, hello, you're out there and you're just showing me what you can do with your body, with your writing, with your painting, whatever you have. So I just love them. I just have them around me all the time. They
Yeah.
nurture me.
And I know we talk about Brene Brown in different places, right? Because she has so many different resources. And when I listen to Dare to Lead, how she helped me change my perspective on being vulnerable helped me, right? If it's not healed yet, then don't share that part. If you know that you're gonna take it personal or react a certain way and you're not there yet, then you life gives you plenty of other things that we could talk about, you know. So is it healed? Can you present it to people? Okay, and be authentic and vulnerable. And then if you're still going through it, maybe that's for the next book. Maybe that's for the next conversation.
Well,
Definitely. It
speaking
really,
of, one of
Mhm.
our authors, Shannon Ivy, I think wrote that in the book. Wounds, not scars, not wounds.
She talked about it yesterday too. That's important.
totally,
hmm
totally. I totally agree.
So, Jailon, I love so many different parts of your story, right? I want to hear more about um, your poetry. And since we're talking about occupational wellness, how you hold that space with the uniqueness of your voice in Alexandria, Egypt. And I would love more about what else were we talking about before the podcast? Um, well, let's start there, and then I'm sure we'll find endless things to talk about. If I'm reminded, I'll bring it up.
Well, I think I've always had these. Okay, I always thought of myself as, like Superman, okay, or like Catwoman because I love her more. And I'm like, okay, I'm Selena. Come on, yeah, she's the hero. You can just go away. What is your one-dimensional whatever doing to me? She's this
Right.
woman and she's so vulnerable. And then she fell and she became more vulnerable. She was just devoured by cats and she emerged as this. I never thought of cats as anything but vulnerable, but they just act on their feelings in an aggressive way. And then I realized, man, this is totally me. I'm Catwoman and Selena Kyle at the same time. And every certain job I went to, I had to be Selena Kyle. I had to be a good employee and hide my writing. Just, I didn't tell anybody about it. And then something happened. I wouldn't call it fate, I would call it life. And it just puts it in people's faces. I would get a prize out of the sudden. I would get a book published after it's been rejected for so long. And people will start looking at me like differently, like, wait a minute, Jaylan is a writer, why isn't she told? And they would go and research the writing, and the result would be disastrous most times because people wouldn't expect it of you. They just want you to be their colleague sitting there drinking coffee. And I'm a workaholic. When I go to work, I'm like, I don't really mingle. I'm not really a people's person most of the time. Sometimes my energy drains and stuff. So I would go and like, hello, hi, politely, curtly. And then people would start reacting differently. Some of them would just be really scared of what they read and they want to run away. Some of them would think that reading something that I've written that was so bold and sexual and stuff would make them, like, hey, Jay, want to go? I'm like, no thanks. I don't want to do anything, baby. Or they would just be like, impressed in a way. Like, I've had this colleague who passed away years ago from breast cancer, and she came to me and she was like, I'm a survivor of breast cancer. And I'm like, wow, thank you so much for telling me. And she's like, I read one of your stories, it was brutal, man. How did you write that? And I was like, I was inspired by someone I knew before. He had, like, bone cancer, and he told me about his back, something like that. And I just imagine, I told him, I'll make you a pelican, I'll make you a swan into my story. And he's like, just do it, put me in the story like that. And this is the story that brought her to me. We were in two different departments, and tell you what, I never mingle with different departments. Like, I'm writing, content, marketing. I don't go to graphic designers. I'm not that kind of girl. And she came to me. I really don't know what to tell people most of the time. I would just say something crazy, so I just stare away from trouble. And she came to me and she was like, I'm a, and this just hit me hard. Like, really, it impacted her that much. And I remember also this guy, he sent me a private message telling me, like, wow, how did you write this story about a man? And I was like, thank you. He was like, just don't publish my name or anything, but what did you see? How did you write it? And then he disappeared. So that's when I realized, like, poetry, occupational, Jaylan the worker, Jaylan the working girl, 9 to 5 girl, and Jaylan the poet, they're just the same person and they exist in this universe together. You cannot just separate them. So I have embraced it, but at the same time, it didn't go well with some places where I worked because some people just saw it as, like, an unnecessary place. I've had a female manager who unfortunately
Oh, I think we're having a little tech issue. We're going to pause for a second. We might have lost her, Shannon.
No, we didn't. We're
She's
not done
coming back.
in
Oh,
Egypt. Yeah,
no.
we're not done.
are you guys there?
Oh, say something now. You cut out for just a second. We
Hello,
She's
hello.
back.
Yay, she's back.
Am I still there?
You are here now. You were saying you had a female manager and then we it dropped off.
Unfortunately, it was one of the worst experiences. I was the happiest girl because I thought, wow, sexual harassment, report to her, tell her, women supporting women, let's be together. And it was the opposite. She judged me. She told me it was a company with all the women were veiled. They wear the head covering. She was like, you're the only unveiled woman. So what do you expect? And she looked at me disdainfully. And she was like, you cannot report it because people will blame you. It's all on you. Look at your writings. And at some point, she just gave me a pep talk where she was like, I think you better choose sides, lady. Either you stay here and you just drop the writer part, or you just leave. We don't need you. We can get any copywriter. Why would we need a writer? Like, and I think it was just
Oh, ouch.
that's that's when I realized, like, okay, maybe I don't want to do the 9 to 5 crap. Maybe I don't want to be in an office all the time, just trying to prove to myself that I'm like people whom I used to envy. Like, I would walk by in the streets and look at people in their offices and be like, why can't you be like them? Why can't you be happy, man? Maybe you haven't found the workplace that suited you, but why haven't you so far? Just it's driving me crazy and driving some of the people in my family crazy. And of course, my sister, who's like my guru and my supporter, she was like, own up to yourself. Where's your truth? Just own to your truth. What is your truth? You want to be a
Yeah,
writer? Be a writer. Just be a
yeah.
writer. Stop it.
Your
I
truth
love
is
that.
you're a creative.
This is the thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're also somebody who works hard, and you can be both. And that's why you've reached the levels that you've reached. And that's one of the things I love about the 8 dimensions of wellness, right? Because we're not just one thing. We're not just financial and then that's it. The finances affect the social and that affects the spiritual and that affects the physical, like we talk about. So with that, I've had people tell me that too, just stick to the restaurant industry, stick to what you know. I have a degree in this, and that you're using the wrong word for the landing page. It's actually this. And so for me, it's just about honing who you are as we grow and we develop. You're not three anymore. You're a different person than you were when you were three. So at one point of your life, you worked hard in the office. Now you'll take those skills and use it somewhere else, and you're writing poetry. And I could tell you right now, my favorite place that I've worked is in Egypt online. What I'm doing right now as an Amazon bestseller. Um, so
Yay.
I just want to honor you, because I never would have thought of you as somebody who didn't talk to people, somebody who was drained around people. Like I've been thinking about your energy from our coffee and chat since we talked. I'm like, she has so much energy. She is so bubbly and everything. So yeah, be all of who you are.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right.
Thanks a lot. Thank you,
Well,
Shannon.
I also find it fascinating because, we're here in the United States, you're there in Egypt. And as women connected, we all still deal with some of the same issues, right? That that
Totally.
same that same outer authority that tells us, oh, it's your fault if this happens because of the way you dress or the way you present or the words you write. And it's like, no, that's not true. And the other thing is that putting us in a box, right? Like, oh, if you just do this, like, oh, if you're just a mother and have 2.5 kids, or if you're just this or that, all the things that society tells us and that sometimes we try to conform to, and we reach one and they go, oh yeah, but only if you do this, right? And that fallacy that if we do everything right, that we're going to be good enough for some people. And it's
Yeah.
like,
Man,
we have to own ourselves and our inner authority, and that what we're doing is on purpose and good enough, and that we accept ourselves for who we are.
Yeah. And for me, it's so much simpler than that, right? For me, that's purpose in life and why we're here. And if I could share a little bit more, Jaylan, what you're talking about is, I got you. Hey, because I am dealing with sexual harassment at work in the different places that I'm working, I need to leave this job. I can't afford to work here emotionally and mentally, right? So when we're talking about what women should and should not do, it's not just because I don't even know what the reason would be that people think that it's not important, but it's so that I can pay for medical bills, so that I can pay for so I can pay to come to work. How about that? Right? So I can have clothes to wear, food to eat, all of these things. So it's us trying to reach a certain level of health, a certain level of development as a person a certain age, requires certain steps. And I think that in the conversation with women and what we do, a lot of times that gets minimized because people offer their opinion based on the boxes that we're supposed to be in. But it doesn't ever
Totally,
it's not the same person that's like, hey, are you well in all these areas? What can I do to make sure that you have what you need?
totally. I totally
Okay.
agree.
Well, and as healthy women being connected in wisdom, I think a question to add to what you just said, Shannon, is how can I best support you in your wellness, right? Because I know in our culture here, sometimes, Jaylan, what happens is people point out the things you're doing wrong, or they don't, unless you're really with a good, healthy group of friends, which we're building in our community, we're building in this, right? To where we ask the other person what they need, not just give them unsolicited criticism for how they should be doing it, right? But
Right.
really check in with them about what do you need, sis, and how can I support you?
Totally, I totally agree to this, especially in the film criticism world, because I've faced it a lot of times where it's like, your review sucks. Your review is bad. You don't understand movies. What are you, a woman? Do you have a brain like a man? Do you even understand the movie? And he'd look at you condescendingly, like, did you understand the movie? Yeah, I understood it. Yeah. And I would be like talking back to them. Okay, this is so vulnerable for me, but I just have to get it out. For 3 years, I was gaslit in a relationship with someone I trusted. And that took away my fighting spirit completely. I became a rag. Something I became, like I was just talking to my sister about it. I couldn't talk to my sister about it except this year. And I told her, this cartoon movie, Ariel and Ursula, when she took her voice, this is what happened. This hand went into my vocal cords and just snapped them. I would be like out, people talking about bigotry, about bad stuff, about hurting others, and I just shut up. When in the past I would just go passionately, and I'm like, I can't stand your talk. What are you talking about? You cannot talk about this about women. You cannot say this. I would completely shut because the person I trusted with myself was just angry at my personality, and they kind of broke it as if you're demolishing a building, down from the roots until there was nothing left. I was a shell. And I think my writing showed it at the time, because a friend of mine, he was a therapist, a great one at that. He told me, Jalen, I'm really worried about you. You have told me a day ago that you were down in this pit looking at people upwards, and you do not want to get out. Is that true? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, my friend, you're in serious trouble. And I think this was the first time that something clicked in me, like, this is not me. I'm a fighter. What's going on? What happened? So for me, I think just to be dealt with in a way that makes me feel like someone is just trying to look, like all understanding. Like, I'm a man. I've been in this business for so long. I've been writing about movies for so long. Or like, you don't understand this. You don't understand what you've written. This is bad, man. This is bad writing. Yeah, what is good writing? I'd always tell them, yeah, enlighten me. I really need your science. I need your knowledge. Help me. I'm just a newbie. I'm just small and young, and I need your wisdom. Give it to me. So when I restored this spirit back, I became, like, strong again, and started writing film criticism articles and just criticizing a lot of the things that I saw. Like, people would be having discussions on Twitter, and I would just catch something, and I gotta write about that. For years, because of gaslighting, I was afraid to do that. I was like, who are you? Why would you even try to talk about this topic? Do you even know this? Because my voice has been stolen from me. So now I'm kind of celebrating having it back.
Yes, we want to celebrate that with you. And also, I have a curiosity. Thank you, first of all, for sharing your story and for being vulnerable with us.
You're
And
welcome.
my question I have, which I bet a lot of our listeners will have, is what wellness practices did you do, or did you take to take care of yourself and to get your voice back, to go from an abusive relationship to where you are strong and are letting the world literally, right? the world hear your voice again?
First of all, just talking to people you really, really love. And I think finding the right people to open up to, like, I've become more like my friend Diane Brazil, for example. We only talk online like you guys, but she's a very important part of my life. I talk to her often. When I'm just unable to handle the world, I tell her, like, I'm taking a break. She tells me she take a break. It's a very healthy friendship. It's very mature. Talking to my sister about everything. I told my sister everything, and my sister was kind of horrified, but she was not the kind of person to panic. She would sit down with me and analyze everything and just talk it bits by bits. Also, giving myself, I think, first of all, forgiving myself, because it's one of the most important things. There is no way out of it, man, except if you forgive yourself. Just have to forgive it. You have to forgive yourself for just being, because okay, our mom is a very great person to whom I owe everything, because she gave up this creative life to become a mother, and I think it took a toll on her, but still, like, she raised us. So I think our mom raised us to be proud girls. We're proud. We're not gonna beg a man. I'm not gonna go after a man. But the gaslighting years turned me into another person. Like, I would go in a relationship and just, please stay. I love you. Don't leave. So after I was out of this relationship and strong again, I started feeling disgusted on myself. Like, who is this? How did you do this? This is bad. You're not a good person. Look at you. I hate you. But then I realized, no, no, you have to forgive. Of course, this was with therapy, with my Reiki healer, with a very, very wise woman that I've met for a short period of my life. She was just Sufi, and at the same time, she was a dancer. I meet strange people all the time. I might not be really good in social situations. I don't mingle with, like everybody, but I like collect people, and they collect me too. So it's a mutual process. She gave me like these bits and pieces about life, and I still carry them to this moment with me. Every time I feel like in a low place, I would just bring back all these words and start as if I'm chewing them. Of course, my Reiki healer is a great person, because this was one of the best things that I've tried and it worked for me. Therapy, having a routine, writing again. Because back in the day, my relationship with writing just became a different relationship that it has always been. It became, out of fear. Like, I would fear what I'm going to write, so I would just step back, or what I write would be crazy. So I knew to find wellness, to become who I became, to just get rid, or let's say heal from years and years of trauma, I would have to be the same writer that I was, but with the new wisdom that I have, even with the new pain, even with the humbleness of knowing that you let something happen to you, or you just let something occur to you. So I wrote with fierceness. It was as if the banshee in me was like screaming and howling at night. And then I realized that I could be both. I could be a sympathetic, good woman, nurturing and loving, and at the same time, I could be dark. I could be my cat woman with the whip, and I could be at the same time this very wise figure, this pharaoh, this like bastard, this cat goddess who was just sitting there giving advice to people. So
I
my
love that.
relationship with writing.
I
Thank
love
you.
that reminder that we're just not one thing. That we are multiple things, and multiple aspects of our personality,
Yeah,
and
I
that we can claim them all. Shannon, you look like you had a comment or a question.
Yeah, yeah. So I remember what I was gonna say, and then yes, I have a comment. So what I want to go more into next is about, and you started how you share your opinion, right? I love that you're a film critic. You talked about your sister being food critics. I love movies. I love food. So I want to hear more about that, and especially with you talking about how you had to find your voice again. Right. I think that's something that happens a lot as women, especially when we're told to, hey, take care of everybody else. If you're not intentional about asking yourself what you want, where you are, what you need, or you have that person that reminds you, like, hey, are you okay right now? Then it's very easy to let however long go. You look in the mirror, say, wait a minute, I don't know this person, and have to find your way back. So, with you having to do that, how do you hold space for yourself when you do give your opinion and you're nervous about it. You want to take it down, but you still do it. What do you do to like sturdy yourself and to center yourself?
My sister is kind of like inspiring to me very much in this because I used to see her, she would just be, does PR work on the side, and she would go and like support actors, and I'd see people attacking her for no reason, like cursing her. And I'd be like, for me, I'm a person, I'm very vulnerable and I'm very sensitive, and I'd be like, how come these people are just saying this at you? And she's like, she has her tools, she has of course her techniques, she has a very well developed wellness system that just gets her through because she's an outgoing personality. She's an extrovert. She just goes to any interview feeling like a beast. I go to an interview feeling like, "Oh, what are they gonna do? Are they gonna hurt me? Are they gonna say something bad to me and stuff like that?" So for me, she would tell me, you just put your opinion out there and see the reactions and try to filter them to see what is meaningful and what is not. Like someone telling you, crap, what are you talking about? Hey, you have no brain. What are you? Where are you from? And there'd be people, of course, who are like, are you even American? Are you even English? Why are you writing about English movies? So my sister would be like, throw them. Someone would have an opinion that is different from mine, but they would see like my opinion is ridiculous, okay? But they would just tell me like, because so and so. My sister would tell me, take the good out of it. What do you think? And just throw the condescending tone. Someone is just like cursing me and writing profanity. She's like, block him. Why are you even reading this? Just ignore it. So taking things one at a time and filtering it. Because I was just telling myself, some people would try always to tell you your opinion doesn't matter at all. Like there are tons of people who have talked about this topic. And just like, but there's only one you. Your unique point of view will not be reciprocated. And then I would find, I have this amazing friend Brian. He's this American guy, and we talk about movies all the time. And he told me about one of my reviews. Man, I've seen this movie, but it's the first time someone tackled it from this angle. So she told me, see, one person on this universe, on this planet, sees that your point of view has never been tackled before. So write for him every time. So then later on, it became like two, three people, and I'd be happy. And then it'll be like 10 people who are like, why are you just writing? We don't need her. Why? So for me, it's just, first of all, dissecting things into smaller parts, what matters and what's not, filtering them as if through a sieve or something. And at the same time, just enjoying the small bits where people are just liking what you do or so passionate about it, because I love passionate people, and you can always tell when you have a passionate person on your hands, like you guys, for example. And this is why I'm talking like a lot. Whenever I'm in an uncomfortable situation, I'll just shrink in and become a little bit, like, yeah, and give stupid answers or just be poker face, and people will be like, you don't like her, oh, I can't stand Jaylan. But for me, because you guys are passionate and I feel the energy already, there is an exchange of energy. This is what's making me even talk more and bring out more. So this is what I look for in humanity. Try.
I love that so much.
I
And
appreciate that.
when people are looking for your writing or your work, where is the best place for them to find you? Like, I know you're on Twitter.
Yeah.
I just followed you on Twitter, by the way. And I don't know if you've had a chance to do it yet, Shannon, but Jaylan's little tagline is writer, poet, daughter of the wind. Ugh,
I love
I
this.
love it. You can tell
Thanks.
you're a poet just with that,
Wow,
right?
thanks, guys, so much.
Daughter
Thank
of the
you.
wind. I
Thank you so
love
much.
that.
Thank you so much, Christine. Thank you. Thank you. This
Yeah.
means the
Yes.
world.
Yeah, and especially as a critic, I think, and I don't know if anybody's told you this, hopefully, but I think that that is exactly the point of everybody sharing their opinions, is that it's going to be different opinions. The fact that you are so surprised by it is the point, is the need for more voices like mine. That's the whole point. So even if yours is the only one right now, you're also holding the door open for everybody else who is in line with you, you know? And I think that's the beautiful part of it. But what you said about sorting too is so important. And that reminds me of Stillpoint, Christine's first book that she wrote with Sheila K. Collins. And the steps of self care, the first one is separating, right? This one
Wow.
is for me, this one is for you. And it's either, yes, they needed your perspective because it was specifically different, which is why you're needed in the space, right? But also, it shows about them, right? How people respond. We can have difference of opinion, and my whole life not be cursed. Like, what is going on, you know? And so it's
Why?
the communication piece and how we deal with each other too.
Totally, totally. Wow. I thank you, Shannon. This is enlightening, really. Totally. I totally
Yeah.
agree with all of this. You're just so eloquent in saying it, which is why I
Thank
feel
you.
like I'm always intellectually challenged when I'm talking to Shannon. Like, okay, gotta be
Mhm.
scholar
Thank
J
you.
now, because there are multiple personalities that I have to prepare for people. Like when you meet this
Right.
aggressive guy in a book signing
Yeah.
event, there has to be like, yes, thank you. My sister is like, you just gotta be, like, um, yeah, thank you, because he's like going there and like giving you a he's trying to give you a big bear hug as if he's like enlightened by writing, but you know what he's enlightening on. So I just try to bring all these multiple personalities to handle, because in the beginning, I think I was a mess because I was so creative and I had a lot of voices in my head and I wanted to write all the time, but there was school and there was family duties and there was friendships and there was a boyfriend. So you have to have all this in context. So for me, I didn't know how to channel my art and channel my relationships and my life. So to have different Jylans deal in different situations has been helpful, hopefully.
Right.
Yeah.
With different boundaries, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
boundaries I've
And
learned the hard way.
and different skill sets. I have different strengths and then I have weaknesses that I'm working on, right? So if I'm in one hat, this is what I need to be working on. And then okay, in between lives and stuff, I'm cooking and got the apron on and we're doing different stuff. And then I'm back on and we're on top of the world. So I hear what you're saying. And I think that that's another reason why the 8 dimensions in the wheel of wellness that our reviewers have been talking about has been so important to look at, because it shows you where to get, okay, where do I need a resource or where do I need a tool, or again, which toolbox do I pull from as far as what I know how to do. And then as soon as I get to the end of what I know how to do, now I need to reach out to somebody or phone a friend or figure it out for myself and see how I feel in that moment and what is the best way to honor myself. Sometimes it is to leave a job. If we're talking about occupational wellness and sexual harassment, hey, I get that you guys might not like a poet, but if I said, let me go, you're hugging me too long, then that's what it is and that's it. So, yeah, it's about the balance of all of it.
Yes, totally. I totally agree. I totally agree.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have so loved this conversation.
I love it
And
too.
I know we have to start moving towards wrap up. We're not there yet. But Jaylan, I was wondering if you would be willing to read your poem Woman for our listeners. Because
Okay.
I read through a lot of your poetry that you sent us, and that one really was I mean, all of them are powerful, but that one I was like, oh, I would
Thank
love if
you.
you would read that one for our listeners.
It would be an honor, really. Thank you. Okay, guys. Wow. Okay. Just get it out. Where are you, Jay?
Take your time. We can chat as you pull it up. I know I probably should have asked you ahead of time, but it was so powerful.
Great conversation to you here.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you, Eleanor. Thank you.
Look
I'm
That's
what
a
glad
they
high
someone
said,
is listening.
Jailon.
compliment.
Yeah, so
I'm glad.
to counter the voices, Jalan, Eleanor says, great conversation slash interview. My favorite ever.
And that's
Favorite
saying something
Wow.
ever.
because
Yeah.
Eleanor is a regular listener. So
Yeah.
for her to say that
Oh,
you're what this is one of her favorites.
are you again serious?
Thank
Wow.
you,
Thanks,
Eleanor.
Eleanor. This is just so, wow. Makes me happy. It really, and I just, okay, because I think women are always just thought of not to express their emotions too much. Like you're not supposed to be like really happy or really passionate or blah blah blah. You just have to have a little bit of dignity, woman. So for me, just to express my happiness, yeah, because it's all the time is there. Like show your love, and I'd be like going out of it, just loving people. So I think just to express my happiness here is just
I
thank you.
love that. It
Thank
made me
you.
giggle about the dignity part, Jyline, because if you saw one of my Instagram lives yesterday and saw my birthing the book hair, dignity was out the window.
Woof. And this
My
is
hair
so
was like,
whoa. Book moments. Are you serious? This is an accomplishment.
well, we had been on a live. We had been on a live on StreamYard, and I ripped off my headphones to go live on the Instagram, not even paying attention to what my hair was doing until after we recorded the whole day. It's going to crack me up for a long time because it was pretty funny. But all right, did you get the poem pulled up?
Yep, there it
All
is.
right.
Okay. Okay. Woman. Oh, woman, lose yourself in nature. Let the mother touch you. Let the wind whisper in your ears. You don't need a man. Your pain needs a mud bath. Something that wouldn't cost you a broken vagina. And sleepless nights, holding the phone for dear life. Sleep and watch them stars, burning bright in the night sky. Sleep and let rest smother you in dreams where you curl naked into a ball. Oh, woman, be the one they love to hate. Oh, woman, dig deeper into the sand, hurl petals into the wind. Dandelions and cassette tapes, where you keep your secrets, are all over your batons. Eat with mouthful, drink from the spring, but don't waste it on strangers. Oh, woman, stay, but not too much. Don't let them get used to your presence. Your time on this earth is precious. Let it seep through your bones and then blow steam through it.
Mm, so
I love it.
powerful.
Thank you
Yeah.
guys so much.
So powerful. I love the line, your time on this earth is precious. Let it seep through your bones. Right?
hmm I love to lose yourself and how it's in a good way, and that's what I was gonna point back to is everything. Oh, please stay with me, all this stuff, and the things that we do. It's like, why did I do that for this person? So you know what? After I forgive myself, I'm gonna do it for me. Please stay with me. I love you so much. All that stuff, even the songs and stuff that I really like, that are all about this person, and I'm like, it's not actually healthy. I'd sing it to myself or sing it to God. Like that's actually a better place to say that. So need a person that share life with. We want that. We want to be connected. That's what we're about. But lose yourself in life and yourself, and then all the beautiful stuff that is yours will come to you. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
And this song part is just, it hits home to me. I do this all the time.
Right.
hmm
It's a victory for me when the song is back to me, it's mine, after it's been for the wrong person.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, you want to hear a story about when I did bad on purpose? Okay, when I almost stopped. I don't even know if you know this, Christine. So we'll talk about women
All right,
connecting
I'm
or the
hang
wisdom in
on.
action after this. So, and this picture is actually on our website. Okay, we're at the um, what was it? What was it called? It was the first. I don't even know what it's called. I did it one time a poetry slam. It was the first poetry
Mm-hmm.
slam in Duluth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Historically white area. So I'm thinking about the historical significance of me reading poetry, all these Black women that were going to present, right? We had our
Wow.
manifestation ladies. I said, oh, I got some good competition, right? And I don't have poetry memorized and stuff, but I had some stuff in a journal that I had written for an ex, right? And I had gone through it like, why did I write again? Why did I do this for this person? All this stuff happened. Like I should have been giving this energy to myself. So at the poetry slam, I read from my journal, and I first read it as I had written it, which was to this other person, and then I reread it back to myself. Right. And one of the judges, it was again, I didn't do the best job, but the point was that I did a poetry slam and that was the win. And he said, I loved how you read it to yourself. And that's really, I think it really would help a lot of us if we just pour that energy into ourselves.
To ourselves.
It was
Exactly.
Yeah.
powerful.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I want to say one more thing about one of the lines in this poem that really spoke to me, and
Yeah.
especially as we talk about birthing this book, as we talk about all your books and your writings, and living with our purpose, right? Which makes us vulnerable sometimes because we're
Mhm.
out there. We're out there. We're opening ourselves up to other people. And I love where you write, and you read, drink from the spring, but don't waste it on strangers.
I like that part too.
Like that was powerful. It's
Yeah.
like drink from the spring. Yeah. And remember, like, this is for us. This isn't
Yeah.
for strangers.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
But we
powerful.
and I love the poem so much because it speaks to a lot of what I think the values of Women Connected in Wisdom are, the things we talk about in different ways, right? Like I do that. I've realized I did that, and it's something I've worked on. I'll wait to get something that I want. And then when I get it, I give it away. And it's like you said, your
Mm,
power, you had to get your power back. Why? So if you're drinking from the water, that's something that you want, right?
yeah.
Keep what you want for yourself, and then the extra, again, give to everybody else. Or not
Definitely.
everybody else, but whoever you choose to pour with, pour
You
for.
choose.
That's what we're talking.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we're talking about. Okay. So today we talked about occupational wellness, you being a food critic, you being an amazing poet, nationally, internationally acclaimed. For your occupational wellness this week, what are you working on? What are you gonna do?
I have to write this piece that I have about. It's a poem. I know I have work to do, but I have to write this poem because it's really important about relation of a poet to their body, especially a woman poet,
Mhm,
and the fears
mhm,
and the things and the stigma. I have to write it because I had a minor health altercation this week that just made it. I can't get it out of my mind, and I thought I have a
mhm.
lot of tasks and stuff and deadlines, but I gotta write this poem. So this is what I'm
Yeah,
gonna do for the occupational wellness. To write this poem will give me all the charge I need to continue my work.
I
So
love
we
that.
could hashtag and say, write your poem.
Wow, wow.
What do you
I'm
Mhm.
think
gonna have
about
it on
that?
Twitter.
Right? Write your
Wow.
I love
poem.
it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I
Right?
love it too, you guys.
What you
What
gonna do,
about for you?
Shannon?
Oh, okay. I am I'm trying to figure out what I want the hashtag to be. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and use the bigger one. I'm gonna say number one Amazon best-selling author. And my action step is gonna be to fill out my author profile on Amazon because I still need to do that.
You do that,
Yes.
girl.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Yay. What about you,
um,
Christine?
I think I'm gonna take a line right out of your poem and say hashtag drink from the stream.
Oh,
Oh, you said
ooh,
spring or stream? Hang on. Let me
praying,
look.
praying.
Drink from the spring. That's gonna be my hashtag. Because
Ooh,
that just brings
gonna
so many
cry.
images to me of like water being life and nature and just the flow and the rhythm of all this yummy goodness when I think of hashtag drink from the spring.
Wow,
Yeah.
this brings me shivers. I'm just so happy.
Yes,
Thank you, guys.
Eleanor, you
of
got one
course.
for us? You have a wisdom in action?
Oh, let's
And
see.
anybody else that's listening? Let us know if you've got one. And we're going to be
Yes.
posting them on our social media. We're going to put all of your contact information that you shared with us for your social media,
Cool.
Jaylan, for people to follow you and to look at your work and to check out what you're up to because you are doing some incredible things. And
Oh,
Yes.
thank you, guys. Thank
we
you
are
guys so much.
so grateful to be connected. We
I'm
are
grateful.
Thanks for reaching out to us, and it was just such a delight to have you on the show today.
Me,
Yes.
I'm so happy, guys. You have no idea. I'm over the moon, really, talking to you.
Yeah.
Just
Well, literally over the moon, because what time is it in Egypt right now?
11:54 p.m. It's almost midnight. Almost
11:54
midnight.
p.m. All right. So we want to make sure to let you go so you can get some rest.
Thank you
And
so
we
much.
look forward to staying connected. And thank you for this
Thank
really
you.
powerful conversation today.
Thank
Yes.
you. Thank you. Thank
Yes.
you,
All right.
both of you. Thank you so much, really.
You're
Thank
welcome. Absolutely.
Oh
Oh,
my gosh.
my
So
favorite thing to
good.
do when somebody else
So
said, "You
good.
should shut up," and I'm like, but you should keep talking." Actually, they just didn't know.
Right?
It's okay. Sometimes we don't know.
Right?
It's okay.
So
Yeah.
powerful.
Yeah.
So very powerful. All right, my friend. What do we want to say to wrap this thing today? To wrap
Oh,
episode 86.
so again, thank you so much for everybody who has been here all the way up to our season 10, all the way up to number one in three different categories. And we'll see where we end at the end of today. If you're interested in getting connected, we have more for you, right? We have the conference coming up. So go to our website. womenconnectedinwisdom.com. We have so many different resources. I would love to sit here and tell you about all 18 of our authors, but we do not have 18 more minutes in our podcast, right? So go get connected. And I look forward to, first, I want to hear the feedback on who gets our digital downloads from our digital
Right.
goodie bags. So that'll be this week, and we'll have some feedback for you guys next week. But get connected with us.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Check out our new website at womenconnectedinwisdom.com.
Ooh,
Oh, before we go, can
what?
I just give a little shout
Oh,
out and
yes.
say, let's glow?
Let's
Um,
glow.
I love your new marketing for Shaylo
Thank you so
Glow, who is one of
much.
the sponsors of our show.
Yes.
And this just made me smile from ear to ear. Like, I
Thank you
am
so much.
literally, this is a motivational postcard. Like, I'm just
Thank
going to
you.
have it sitting on my desk and be like, let's
Mm,
glow.
yeah.
Because, I love it so much. And the
Thank
whole
you.
self care is your next good habit. And it tells
Yeah.
you all the yummy things that your shea butter does, your glow butter does for you. And
Yes.
the other one more thing, I know we got to
Mhm.
go, but I got to
You're
point this
fine.
out. Made with you in mind. Mm,
That's one of my favorite parts. And we were talking earlier in a coffee and chat with what is a graphic facilitator, right? She
right?
was talking about pulling what you say out. And I've told you ladies, I've been working with SCAD since the beginning of the year, right? So SCAD, Spark, and Sweet Auburn in the retail space that Shayla Glow is about to go into, they have been doing an amazing job. And I love working with women. Got to give a special shout out to my project manager for my marketing team, Dana, who has redone the labels, gave us our green labels that went out in the movie premiere at the Gathering spot. I use mine, so it's all scratched
Dana,
up. Dana,
Dana, Dana.
yes, yes for the
Let's
win.
glow, Dana.
Yes, let's glow. So it's been amazing, and I'm looking forward to you guys getting the resources in your hand, getting some Shalo glow in your hand, so you can glow from head to toe, but also be protected, right? Be forgiven by yourself, be fortified and taken care of. Yes.
I'm getting a
Oh,
little
you got it
Shayla glow
open?
in my hand.
It's
Yeah,
amazing. I need some.
yeah, I need some. All right, my
Yes.
friend.
Okay. Cool.
Just one last shout out for Women Connected in Wisdom,
Yes.
stories and resources rooted in the 8 dimensions of wellness. If you haven't got your copy yet, you want to grab it today because we're not sure
Yes.
how high the price is going up on that. We got it written down somewhere, but we've been so
We
busy
do.
launching this book.
What we
Grab
know
your
is that it's not
copy.
going to be 99 cents.
Right, to
Right.
forever, right? That's
Mhm.
happening. And
Yeah.
let us know what you think. We are
Yeah.
really proud of lifting up these stories of these 18 authors. You will recognize them. They've been on the podcast and now they're telling their stories in print form. And
Mm,
we are grateful to have had a part in that, and
absolutely.
grateful to be connected, right?
Yes. Thank you so
Just
much, guys.
Oh, so yeah, we're just
Yes.
delighted. Thank you to
Oof.
everybody who's listening, who's showing up, and go and register for that conference too. We want to see you at the end of
Yeah.
October.
Absolutely. Okay, guys, we will be here next week live at 5 for episode 87. In the meantime, be well, be wise, be whole. See you soon.
Peace, y'all. See you next week.